If you're thinking about moving to Blainville, which is a city 25 kilometers north of Montreal, well, in today's video, I'll share with you the pros and cons of living in Blainville. If this is your first time to my channel and you like real estate, having information about the city of Laval and all the suburbs such as Blainville and all of the other suburbs in the Laurentians, well, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and maybe try to hit that bell notification so you'll get informed of every single new video I'll put on the market. And I'll also share with you some house tours of houses, condos, duplex, triplex that I have for sale in all those surrounding areas. So it'll give you an idea of what's it like to live in Laval, in Montreal, in all those little cute suburbs. My name is Gabriel Laflamme. I've been a realtor since 2009, and every single day I get calls and emails from people just like you that are looking to buy or sell a property in Montreal, Laval, and the Laurentians and the surrounding areas, all the surrounding suburbs. So if you're planning to move, buy or sell a property in a month, 6 months, a year from now, my team and I, we're there to help to make your transition as smooth as possible. Now let's get to it. Before we hit the pros and cons of living in Blainville, I'll give you some key facts about the city of Blainville, which is a really great city. I really love Blainville. It's a city that has been booming in the last 10 to 15 years. To give an example, in 2016, the population of the city was 56,000 people. 5 years later, 2021, 61,000 people were living in Blainville, which is a steep increase, and the trend is growing. Generally speaking, people that live in Blainville own a house. It's a city of people that own a property, and most of the time it's a single family home. You have more and more condos that are being built, but generally speaking, people that are moving to Blainville, their goal is to find that beautiful house, single family house on that beautiful quiet street. And in terms of location, Blainville again is 25 kilometers north of Montreal. And the important thing about Blainville that I have to mention is that most of the homes that were built in Blainville were built in the 90s and above. 1990s, 2000, 2010 and above. So when you compare Blainville to Montreal or Laval, where you have houses that were built in the 1960s, 70s or before, well, when you move to the Laurentian and you move to Blainville specifically, you'll luckily find houses that are really new. Like you could easily find a 2004 houses, a 2017 houses. So that's a big factor that attracts buyers, young buyers that want to just buy this new house and have no worries whatsoever. Now let's look at the cons. The first con that comes to my mind is the prices. The real estate prices have exploded in the last couple of years and specifically in the last year. Yes, COVID was a big factor, but prior to COVID, Blainville market was already booming. Families were, moving from Montreal to Blainville because of its quality of life. And everywhere you were reading that Blainville had this magnificent, quiet city, perfect for families. So that explains why a lot of families moved to Blainville before the COVID, and throughout the COVID, and price have skyrocketed. To give an example, to buy a single family home in March 2022, the average price, $792,000. A year before, in 2021, listen to this number, it's really scary and crazy. It was sitting at $625,000. So it increased in 12 months by more than $150K within a single year. That's crazy. The province of Quebec was booming because of COVID, but Blainville the curve was even steeper. It was crazy. And when you're looking at condos, same thing almost. March 2022, average price, $415,000. A year prior, March 2021, $311,000. That's a steep increase for only 12 months. So to give you an idea, I have some clients that have bought a house in Blainville a year and a half ago. They're selling it right now as is, the same condition as it was when they bought it, and they're making $200K in profits. It's totally crazy. The second con that comes to my mind, traffic is absolutely crazy. Highway 15. When you live in Blainville, you want to use Highway 15 to go to Laurentian in the north or go south to Montreal. There's traffic every day. There's traffic all parts of the day. It's really crazy. So if you live in Blainville and you work in Blainville or really close to Blainville, you'll avoid the traffic. But if for some reason you live in Blainville and you don't have this privilege of working a hybrid schedule where you stay home 3 days and you go to the office in Montreal 2 days a week. If you have to go to Montreal 5 days a week, you'll go crazy because the traffic is really the worst you could possibly think of. The third con, there's no downtown area in Blainville. If you want to have this downtown feeling, you have to go maybe to Laval, where we have a tiny downtown area, or else you go straight to downtown Montreal. The fourth con that comes to my mind, the main boulevard, Curé-Labelle, which is really where everybody goes on every single day to go to groceries, the drugstore. You have to use that boulevard on a daily basis. It's really not appealing. It has to eventually become nicer and nicer, but at present day, it's not really attractive boulevard. It's really not appealing. You'll see when you hit this boulevard. It's nice. There's nice businesses, but it's not the nicest boulevard I've seen. The fifth con, when I speak to my friends that live in Blainville, they tell me there's just too many condos now that are being built. 10 years back, just a few condos here and there, but now it's exploding, the new construction. So people are kind of scared, like, hey, it used to be quiet in Blainville, and now it's booming. It's just like construction site everywhere. When a city is appealing as much as Blainville, you have people that want to move there and buy a condo. There's lots of people that live in Laval in a house. They're selling their house to buy a condo in Blainville. So the demand is so high that they keep building and building and building. So you see a bunch of condos in Blainville now. If you're into river banks, having the chance to go walk close to the river, well, there's no rivers. There's no riverbank in Blainville because we're surrounded with cities and no access to some shores where you could go fishing or use your paddleboard to enjoy the beautiful sun. If you want to see this, you have to go to, for instance, in Rosemère. You have a nice riverbank where you could go do some sports on the water. But in Blainville, unfortunately, there's no access to some riverbanks. Now let's move to the pros of Blainville. I really love the city of Blainville, so it's really easy for me to speak about the pros and the cons I've discussed with you. I really had to call a few friends and see what are the cons of living in Blainville, because it's such a new, beautiful place to live and have fun and enjoy life with your family. The first pro that comes to my mind is the amount of green spaces and parks you have in Blainville. They're fantastic. 10, 15 years back, 50% of the whole territory of Blainville was dedicated to green spaces and parks. But now, because of construction, it's probably, I don't know, I figure maybe around 40%, but still really interesting for people that like nature, that like all those green spaces to spend time with your family and friends. The second pro is that we're close to Montreal. We're only 25 kilometers from Montreal. And to give an idea, if there's no traffic on a Saturday afternoon, for instance, if you leave Blainville, you could enter the city of Montreal within, 20 minutes, 25 minutes max, and be in downtown Montreal in 40, 45 minutes, 50 minutes stop. If you need to find a parking, sometimes finding a parking in Montreal is a challenge. But still, no parking is great, and it's really close. And if you have to go to Montreal for work, well, still, it's only 25 kilometers away from Montreal, which is not that bad. You can easily go there. If you have that Waze app on your phone, you can, I'll skip the traffic. I'll wait till the traffic passes and I'll go to Montreal afterwards. If your bus is flexible, you could use this app and avoid a great portion of the traffic. The third pro that comes to my mind is the fact that the city of Blainville is really a paradise for families. It was meant for families. People that move to Blainville, they buy a house because they want their kids to play sports, they want their kids to have safe parks, schools. So it's really meant for families to be happy and parents to be happy. When I speak to my friends that have houses over there, like when I show up to the city and I speak to the employees over there, they're really listening. They're taking our feedbacks, and we really feel like they're listening to our needs. We're paying taxes, but the taxes, the revenue from the city is really used for us to make our lives better, for our quality of life to be really significantly better than in some other parts of the province, for sure. The fourth pro, the city of Blainville is really a quiet and safe place. You rarely see police officers like arresting people for like gangs or like murders. The crime rate is extremely low, and in terms of the security and the tranquility of the streets, you see a lot of signs, 30 kilometers max in the streets. So it's really safe for kids to go to school or play sports, play hockey in the streets. So that's really nice to know that if you have kids that are outside, they won't get hit by cars, because the city of Blainville, again, takes great initiative to install those signs where 30 kilometers max, and that's always nice to have when you're a parent. The fifth and last pro that I'm thinking of is the fact that you have a great variety of activities that are offered by the cities. You can practice every single sport you can think of, team sport, individual sport. Kids, parents can have fun. If you have a time on a weekend and you want to have fun, the whole family will be entertained by all those sports and activities that are being organized by the cities. You have parks, hockey arenas. It's really great. It's really great for its number of activities that are there, and whether you're into arts, whether you're into outdoor sports, indoor sport, team sport, like I said, or individual sports, kids, parents, everybody will be happy with the great variety of what they're offering. That sums it up for the pros and cons of living in Blainville. Again, it's the suburb 25 kilometers north of Montreal. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you have a plan to move to Blainville or sell a property in Blainville or any of the suburbs around Blainville, Laval, and Montreal, my team and I, we're there to help. We're there to make your transition as smooth as possible. So whether you have a project in a month, 6 months, a year from now, we'll be there to help. Shoot us an email, call us, and we'll be happy to help. In the meantime, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.